Good morning. So it's been about maybe 2 or 3 days since I made my last video of my trip to Lowe's. I got a lot of feedback from my friends that I was not to leave the house again because it's just too risky for me. I haven't done that except to go to the Dunkin' Donuts drive-thru to get a coffee and take the dog for a RIDE. Because that's what we usually do. Anyway, so if anyone's wondering where I came up with the hashtag Corona Bandits, it started out this way. A few days before it was actually announced, I can't even remember what day it was, I kind of said to Jordan, I said, maybe we should all, jokingly, maybe we should all just start wearing bandanas over our face to prevent ourselves from getting coronavirus. And my thought there was that much of the transmission comes from when you actually touch your face. So if you have something covering your face, either A, you're reminded not to do it as much, or B, you're blocked from doing it. So we kind of joked about that, and I said, yeah, we can all be Corona Bandits, thinking that, who wears bandanas over their face? Bandits. Anyway, so that literally the next day, I read an article posted, I think it was in the Boston Globe, about how literally wearing something to cover your face. So, many people see a lot of people in Asian countries wearing masks all the time. And part of that is because of pollution, but part of it is to prevent infections. And it has nothing to do with whether or not the infection can get through the mask, but it's actually because they stop touching their face. So anyway, literally the next day that article was published. And I think it was the next day after I started hearing chatter on multiple Facebook groups that I'm on that doctors were starting to literally run out of, and nurses and all healthcare workers run out of personal protective equipment. And there was a push that people were starting to make them out of all sorts of things, masks out of vacuum filters, then there was the thought of, using air filters from a furnace. Anyway, the point is that literally the CDC posted a revised acceptable PPE list for individuals who would be working with corona patients. And literally that included wearing a scarf or bandana across your face. So that's where we're at this point. Literally the CDC has now said it is acceptable to wear a bandana over your face when working with corona patients. Here's my thought on that. The only time it is acceptable to include a bandana in your work attire is if you're like one of the following groups. You're Zorro. You are a member of the Rough Riders, or maybe still just like an old-fashioned cowboy, or you're a bank robber. Because to me, that's not acceptable personal protective equipment for a physician or any other healthcare worker. Anyway, so there's where I'm at. So here's my plea to anyone who will listen. I've spent the last 2 days racking my brain, not sleeping, trying to make prototypes of replaceable filters that we can send to our healthcare workers, and masks that can hold them in. I'm still working at it. I'm exhausted. My brain is fried, but I'm still going to keep working on it. I am trying to use good science, because that's what I do. I know that it's interesting that 3M makes masks for physicians, and 3M also makes air filters for your furnace. I'm pretty certain they're not much different, right? Because some of them even say on it that they will filter down to 0.3 microns. That's what we need, people. The deal is that there are other layers involved in these masks, and I can't figure out what they are. I've resorted to trying to read patents. I've resorted to looking at other products. I am not a material scientist. So if someone can help me figure out what's in these layers so that we can make a filter that won't fall apart, that people can sew at home and help with this crisis, I'm asking you to do that. I'm sure people that work at these companies where they're produced, and yes, many of these are produced in this country, so someone out there knows what's going into making it. I'm sure you've all signed non-disclosure agreements, but this is a healthcare crisis. People's lives are depending. It's not about profits anymore. It's about saving lives. So anyone that can help me figure out what's in these layers, please send me a message. WikiLeak me. I'm not really even sure what that means, but it sounds good. I'm not going to identify you as a source. I'm certain I've violated patents and copyrights in the last few days. Anyway, so that's the end of that diatribe. And here's another thought, and I know this message is really long, but when we start to get through this process, and it's going to be a while, and everyone kind of needs to understand that, I think there's obviously tons of lessons to be learned, but maybe a good lesson for everybody and for our environment is that we need to be less reliant on disposable items. So if anyone has ever watched, like old medical shows like MASH, they all had cotton masks on. They all had cotton gowns on. All that equipment, it is labor intensive, but it's all sterilized and cleaned appropriately. Healthcare is boiled down to where it once thrown away. And I think that still has to be the case for things like gloves, but certainly gowns and masks and shoe covers and head covers. It doesn't need to be that way. Maybe we can come out with a line of adequate personal protective equipment and using all new technologies that are available as far as materials. They can be lightweight and easy to clean and easy to sterilize. Anyway, we'll be throwing less in the landfill, and we'll be preventing crises where we run out of stuff, because you know what? We could actually create jobs for people just cleaning and autoclaving right now. Anyway, so that's the end of my diatribe this morning, and thanks for listening to me. And everyone, please be well, and please share this video if you think that someone will have information that can help me to help everyone. And I will not reveal who that is. And anyway, that's it, everyone. Please be well. And stay safe. It's, we're all in this together. All right, and one of my big things is that it takes a village, and this time it's more than a village. Anyway, have a great day, and #CoronaBandits. Bye.